All right, let's jump right in. We're going to take a look at something you probably use dozens of times a week, the humble calendar invite. And we're going to see it in a totally new light, not as a simple reminder, but as a high-stakes, incredibly valuable financial tool. Yeah, I know it sounds a little crazy, but trust me on this one. So let me ask you a question. What do you think is the single most valuable digital message ever created? Is it some historic email, a tweet that sent the stock market soaring? Nope. The real answer is probably sitting in your inbox right now, and you likely don't give it a second thought.
But before we can really appreciate our hero, we have to meet the villain of our story. And for decades, the villain has been running our lives. It's the email. Look, it's not evil, but it is deeply, deeply flawed for what we use it for. It was built to broadcast information, not to lock in commitments. And that one little flaw, it costs businesses an absolute fortune.
Let's really break down why email is so bad at this job. First off, it's ephemeral. You know how it is. An important email gets sent, and poof, it's buried under 100 others in just a few hours. That leads to endless manual follow-ups. It's also completely unstructured. There's no standard way to process the time, or the place, or the status of anything, which means you can't really automate it. And maybe worst of all, it's one way. It's a send and forget system. You just throw it out there and hope for the best. Put it all together, and it's just incredibly expensive in time, effort, and costly mistakes.
And this, right here, says it all. An email is literally a message in a bottle. You just toss it into the digital ocean and cross your fingers. But a calendar invite? That's totally different. It's like a living, breathing contract. It's registered, it's accountable, and it doesn't go away until a decision is made. It demands a response.
So, into this mess of missed messages and broken commitments, steps our unlikely hero, the simple, overlooked calendar invite. And it turns out, it's perfectly built to fix every single problem that email creates when it comes to managing our time.
And it does this with 4 key superpowers. First, it's persistent. It sits there right on your calendar, a constant reminder that won't get buried. Second, it's updatable. If the time changes, that change is automatically pushed out to everyone. No more, hey, did you see my update emails? It's also interactive, and this is crucial. It captures a measurable commitment with that RSVP. And finally, it's composable. It can be displayed anywhere, on any digital surface, from your phone to your car's dashboard. So this is the real game changer. The calendar invite fundamentally shifts us from just shouting a one-way message into the void to creating an actual two-way dialogue of commitment. It's a totally different philosophy of communication.
And its secret weapon is this beautiful little feedback loop. It's a 3-step dance. It starts with the organizer sending the time and the intent. Then, the invitee responds with a clear, measurable commitment. A yes, a no, a maybe. And finally, the system itself maintains this state of synchronized awareness. It makes sure everyone is always on the same page. This is what creates real, verifiable accountability.
And what you get from this loop is something incredibly valuable, an event record. Just think of it as the ultimate source of truth for an interaction. It's a verifiable, auditable log of exactly who knew what, who agreed to what, and precisely when they did it. For things like compliance, for performance reviews, or even for legal defense, this is an absolute goldmine of data.
Okay, so we've met our hero, we know its powers. Now for the really fun part. How does this simple little tool slay the giant dragons of corporate waste and inefficiency? Well, let's talk about the money. Let's start with a big number, 50 to 90%. That is how much you can reduce the manual labor spent on chasing people for updates and setting reminders, just by letting the automatic sync do its job. That alone is a game changer for any team's productivity.
But it gets even better. The value just skyrockets depending on how high the stakes are. Think about industries where compliance is everything, like healthcare or law. Missing a deadline there can mean millions in fines. In those fields, the value of a guaranteed commitment is 5 to 10 times higher. Even for businesses that depend on revenue, like SaaS, we're talking a 2 to 5x multiplier. The more a missed appointment costs you, the more valuable our hero becomes.
And this isn't just theory. We're seeing this play out in the real world. In healthcare, it's being used to slash patient no-shows by as much as 40%. In software, it's driving huge uplifts in customer retention because critical renewal meetings don't get missed. For law firms, it prevents catastrophic missed court dates. It's even being used in smart cars to turn unpredictable service appointments into a reliable, predictable source of revenue.
So, what does this all add up to? Well, we're really looking at a fundamental shift in how we should think. The big idea here is that for any serious organization where time is money, you just can't manage your commitments through email anymore. It's the wrong tool for the job.
And it all comes down to this one powerful idea. We have to move away from just delivering a fleeting message that gets forgotten and move towards creating a state of persistent synchronization, keeping everyone on the same page, automatically and all the time. That is where the real value is hiding.
You know, there's a quote from the source material that just nails it. It says, "The future of high-value digital communication necessitates fewer, smarter, time-aware commitments." It's not about more noise or faster emails. It's about making fewer promises, but making them smarter and making them stick.
Which brings us all the way back to that first question. The calendar invite is so much more than a simple notification. It is the definitive, fundamental unit of transactional time. It's the building block of accountability and value in our modern economy.
So I'll just leave you with this one last question to chew on. If we all agree that time is our most valuable asset, then why on earth are so many of us still trying to manage it with what we've just shown is our least valuable, most broken tool? It's definitely something to think about.